Just got back from my favourite boot sale at Wimbledon, and some of the goodies that I picked up. Last week, as I said, was useless. There's nothing there at all. This week, this is some of the items that were there. The other items were a load of flower pots, which are not particularly interesting to put on YouTube, but they're handy for the other hobby, the plants and that. But today, let's have a look at some of the things. We picked another oscilloscope up. This one I saw last Wednesday and left it there, and that was when I then found the one that I subsequently picked up. And I got home and I said, why on earth didn't I pick this one up? And when I went to today, it was still there. So yes, we've got that as well. Don't know if it works, but at least we got it. Something to have a little play with. There was another person there selling. He had cleared a house that belonged to a gentleman who was in the last World War. He was a pilot of gliders. They would glide in behind the enemy lines. He was a school teacher, but his interests were the older electronics and stuff like that. And there was a whole mixture of bits and bobs. If I had more money, I could have bought more, but I didn't. But I'm happy what I got. There was a bag of bulbs. Now, I didn't know what they were. I pulled out one bulb and it was okay, so I didn't want to rummage through them. I thought, well, I'll take a chance on that. And as you can see, 3, 6, 9 bulbs. The downside is they're all the same, but not to be too upset, I've got some swaps. So, you know, this one's Royal Edison. They're rated 50 volts. Let me just see it. This is only a quick one just to show what I've got. I will put these on a bit later. Yeah, they're 50 watt, 25 watt. I would think they've got the government stamp on it. I know for a fact that this was the voltage which was used in the other telephone exchanges where I used to work, and it's likely that this may have come from one, but I don't know. Anyhow, they're all the same. Royal Edison, 50 volt, 25 watt, all workers. They were just wrapped in some old newspapers dated 1970. At this same... oh, I've got a visitor coming. Don't you knock the bulbs over. You want to get in on it as well, don't you? Anyhow, at the same... down you go. Come on. There you go. Good girl. Come on, there you go. She's gone down. Also, at the same place was 2 tubular lamps. 230 volt, 100 watt. Now I have got one of these before. I believe I've actually put it on one of my videos. It's exactly the same lamp. The only exception being is the manufacturer. My ones were made by Cosmos, and this one is made by Mazda. It's got the wrapper with it as well. Turn it round. It's Mazda 230 100 watt SCC, which stands for Small Centre Contact Cap. Normally an SCC cap has pins like well, it is a bayonet cap, but this one is not. It's it has got another name now, but it slipped me. It's 308 millimeters, BTH, made in England, and the government broad arrow. As I say, there's 2 of those. There was another one in a light, actually in a light fitting, but I thought, well, if I get that, they're going to push the price up, so obviously I have to be a bit careful. Also, I thought, there's a broken bell with 2 terminals that I can use to repair one of my other ones that I got. But then I looked at it more carefully. It's not a bell, it's a buzzer. So this will not be cannibalised, this will be cleaned up, and that'll go in the collection with the bell, and we'll carry on looking for a set of terminals. Same circuit, well, same circuitry as a bell, but instead of a hammer being fixed to the armature at that point, it just buzzes, and it simply gives a buzzing sound. It's not a trembler bell, but a trembler buzzer. You've got your set of contacts there in beautiful condition. There's the underneath. That would probably polish up beautifully. The box is screwed with nice little brass screws. Not a bad buy. A little bit of a nick in there, but as I say, you kind of hear everything. Right, carrying on, what else did we get? From the same seller, a couple of padlocks. I have got several of these different types. One of these days I will add them to the list of videos. This one's got no name on it, with 2 keys. It's an oldie. Beautiful little lock. They're not quite, they're doing things with one hand is rather difficult. I know it does pop out. There she goes. Yeah, that's come undone. There's no name on that one. Well, I couldn't see a name on it, but the other one has got a name, and it's a name that I'm familiar with. Abus, A-B-U-S. It's a German firm. Once again, another very old one, possibly same era. There's the key. It's got the old, I think they call ward marks, warding, where the key has to fit in through a special entry. There we are. See a little bit of metal there. So that means that before you even fit the key in, that has to go in that little groove. Anyhow, nice little lock working. Now, another item which came from another seller. This was the seller I bought the flower pots from, but I'm not going to show you loads of flower pots because they're not very interesting. He had obviously cleared out either a market garden or someone who was a keen plant person. I bought this, was just in a box, and when I saw it was upside down in the box, I thought, oh blimey, that's going to be smashed. It's a Mason's wet and dry bulb thermometer. It is used for working out the relative humidity. Both tubes, when I looked at it, I thought, oh, they're going to be broken. But look at that. There's not a mark on those tubes. Dirty, yeah, but that's the main thing is the tubes are not broken. They're so delicate, these things. This was just slung in a box with a load of other stuff. If I can open it up, underneath you have this little. It's not going to open, so I'm not going to force it yet. It needs a little bit of oil just to open it up. But inside you have the 2 tubes. One tube, the wet bulb, goes onto a little wick which would go into either a glass or a plastic container of water. That part's actually missing, but not to worry. That would fit fit in that metal cup-like arrangement, and that keeps that wet, and as it evaporates due to the state of how much moisture is in the air, it causes cooling, and the reading on that one would be slightly less than the other one. They're both exactly the same tubes. They should read exactly the same. That one's reading 66 and the other one, well, I can see it, I think that's reading it as well. Not so clear on that one, but yeah, you can just see it. That's reading 66 as well. But if that's wet and it's the drying effect that causes cooling, you get a difference in the two readings. You look at a table, compare the two readings with a table, and you get the relative humidity out. It's a hygrometer. Last item, which is this lamp. This came from yet another seller. That's a infrared lamp. Let's turn it on. It's all working. Well, that's working fine. Philips lamp. I have shown these before. It's a screw base one on a nice reflector, and that's going to be used in the greenhouse with a different type of lamp. I'll put in one of those large compact lamps which are designed for plant growth. This would have probably been used in a place where they were either keeping chickens or animals to keep them warm. It does give out quite a bit of heat. The lamp itself, I would say, is not that old. I don't know whether the filament shows up. It probably doesn't. Might just do. There we are. There's the filament. And it's starting to smell already, so it's getting quite warm. I'm going to turn it off now. It's made by Philips. Right, we turned him off. Anyhow, thanks for looking. Any questions, please ask. Oh, shall I tell you how much I spent? Not very much. I'm afraid at boot sales you normally get stuff very, very cheap. That oscilloscope, I think I gave, he wanted 10, so I said, what's your very, very best? He said, I'll take 8. So that was £8. The lamps, the buzzer, the padlock, that lot came to £10, and the lamp over there was £3. So now you know why I love boot sales, particularly the Wimbledon boot sale. So anyhow, once again, thanks for looking. Any questions, please ask. Any comments, please make. And I thank you all again. Thank you.